Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a very cold Moscow. I'm actually outside the center of Moscow today, and I've come to show you a outdoor shop, camping shop, fishing shop, all in the one place. And I think it might be an interesting video. Let's go check it out. Where I am actually making this video is about 2 hours from my house, and there's the very well-known MKAD right here, which is the famous ring road that has got the most traffic in all of Moscow. This building's quite interesting. There's actually a Russian McDonald's. We all know Kuzny Itochka. And then there's actually a indoor car dealership called Rolf. It's also a very well-known car dealership here in Moscow. Where we want to go is a place called Trofey Megamarket. And this is the closest thing I can find to an outdoor camping fishing shop in Moscow. And it's actually 2 levels, so it's a very big store. And I think for the sake of this video, it would be very interesting to see this. I would really like to go and check out that car dealership, but that will be for another video, I think. Let's get on inside and warm up a little. The store is actually open 7 days a week from 9 AM till 9 PM, so plenty of trading hours. I don't expect it to be too busy today because it's the middle of the week and it's a working day here in Moscow. So let's jump on inside and warm up firstly and have a look around this shop. What I'm going to do is go for a nice slow walk around of the store and point out as many things as I can show you. Of course, you can watch along the video and understand what it is that we're seeing. So there is an upstairs, which I'll get to in just a while. This lower level, or the ground floor, has a lot of camping things, a lot of things for the great outdoors, let's call it. There's actually a barbecue section here. And have a look at these for over the wood fire. These are very cool. And these bigger pots here if you want to make plov. Most barbecues in Russia are all coal or briquette type barbecues. Gas barbecues are not very common, and most people will buy the ones where you put the coals on there, and it's just easier and generally more tastier as well. There's some pretty elaborate barbecues, depending on how big you want it or how small you want it. There's a whole back wall here of thermoses, different brands. So there's some Russian brands and then some imported Western brands as well. Plenty of choices if you want to take your tea with you. These are the more typical barbecues. So they don't actually have a top. So you actually use skewers on there. You'll see the little holes cut out. And this is the very normal barbecue in Russia. I think everywhere in the world has these plastic chairs, no matter where you go. And then coming around the corner here, there is actually some of the gas barbecues. These are the ones that have got the disposable bottles. So if you're going to use them perhaps in a tent or somewhere, these are definitely the way to go. This is not as typical if you want to do a barbecuing. This is mostly if you want to do cooking with pots and pans and frying pans. If you've got a country house in Russia, you wouldn't generally own one of these or use them. But have a look at all these little small burner type ones. So you'd get the gas bottle and then screw them on. I haven't seen a shop like this in Russia until today. And I know a lot of people have been asking me to come to a Russian outdoor shop and show everything that they have. And I think we can do it in a couple of takes. All the stuff for cutting trees down and digging yourself out of the snow. More than enough types of axes. I think these are all of the items if you get stuck, I think. the ropes and straps, different things like that. Lots of camping chairs. And then these picnic bags, which have got all of the items inside. These are really neat. So you can put all the food in one pocket and then all of the utensils are in the other one. And you're good to go. Please, if you're watching this and you're a person that likes outdoor shops, maybe let me know in the comments how it compares, the selection, the choices. They've got the eskies here. That's what we call them in Australia. Some countries they call them cool boxes. And I think in New Zealand it's chili bin, which I like the name of that. They have some tents as well. And then check it out. You can actually get these ovens or heaters that you can put inside. And then the exhaust would come out the top. And there's all sorts of different choices of them as well. So they've really got this sectioned off by all the different types of items, all the different types of cool boxes and insulated containers. Never-ending types and choices. Sleeping mats, and then all of the folding camping tables. There's not one or two choices, there's 20 of everything. And all the pots and stoves. And they also have these tea urns up the top here, which also I think you might be able to distill alcohol from them. I'm not 100% sure, but I think possibly they work like that. Do we need a polar bird? And then even toilets and different types of kettles and cups. And all of the normal camping items. In Russia you do tend to find a lot more of it is either steel or aluminium, and not as much plastic. I think it's more just for durability that you've got the metal tableware. They have a nice long aisle here of sleeping bags and all the different types and models that you would want. And then these beds, get yourself off the floor, particularly if you were going to do it in winter or in cooler months. You don't want to be on the cold floor. I think these may be ground mats at the same time. And then we come into the clothing section. There's quite a lot to take in here. So you've got all the hats, lots of very traditional looking Russian style hats. But the main important thing is keeping yourself warm. It's not generally about the look of some of these brands. It's keeping warm. And then all of the coats and stuff that's related to hunting and the outdoors. You do occasionally see people wearing these in Moscow. Perhaps they love it that much that they'll wear it even in city areas. And there is a lot of choices of jackets. The one I've got on today, I love. My wife got it for me 2 years ago now. And I think it was the best gift she ever got me, was a nice proper warm winter jacket. And then they've got the ducks all over the place as well. They do have some of the brand names up on the back wall there. Fairly sure quite a lot of these are the ladies' jackets at the same time. So a lot of these are definitely winter designed. It's ideal, particularly now. Outside today is about -5. Once you get down to -15 or 20 or colder, you need something insulated, something waterproof, and something that'll keep you warm. These are good for autumn time, these puffer jackets. And they've got a few different tents or just outdoor tents, I think. Can't get away from the Chinese Crocs. Then they have a selection of shoes as well. And all of these wet weather gear waders. I think perhaps people use these for fishing or maybe just for the outdoors generally. And then a whole wall of different models of shoes. Pretty much in any price point you like and any brand. I think in Russia it's essential that you get something that's waterproof and it's got the nice tread on the bottom, particularly when it's snowy and icy here. It's an absolute must. So a lot of their shoes they have on display, particularly all the boxes, rather than the staff having to go in the back to get them. And these very big boots. Maybe wear them over something else. These are proper winter shoes. I mean, you wouldn't find any of these sorts of things in Australia. We just don't have the seasonal weather. Things like hiking shoes are pretty normal. And then they've got socks and different things. And then they've got all of the different tents and backpacks. They do have stuff on special dotted around as well, as is all brands and shops that you go to. There's more stock of their shoes up here. And these are all the proper hiking bags. That's quite interesting. They've got a kangaroo on this one. I wonder if there's any reference to Australia with the company. Almost every video I make, I can make some kind of Australia reference, and it's super interesting that no matter where you travel in the world, we're somewhere on display, or the brand or the logos. The only thing with the tents, you can't see them out. I think you wouldn't really have room for them all, so you just have to go off the pictures of what they've got on them. There's a judge. There's some barbecue coals right there. And then what do they have here? They've got flashlights. Plenty of choices of the camping and flashlights and all the little gadgets. And there's some pretty neat travel camping sets here. You'll see the ones with the knife and fork and then the flask for the drinks, which is pretty neat. And they've got a few more over this side. I saw these as I first walked in. They've got some different versions with the shot glasses. And then you've got to have with bears and different Russian logos on them. This is absolutely as Russian as it comes. Got to get yourself a shot glass set to take camping with you, I think. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. This has been a very requested video to make for the channel, and I'm glad I came and found this store and I can make it into one video. If you're not sure who I am, I'm an Australian who lives here in Moscow, and I like to make videos about typical Russian life and all the things that are associated with it. Coming to shops, going to different places in Moscow where I live and Moscow region, and show them to you on the channel. Going upstairs to the second level, this is where it gets very interesting. And if you're into outdoor gear in any form, of course we've seen a lot of it downstairs, then up here it goes to another level altogether. And of course winter in Russia, particularly when it freezes over the ponds and rivers, these ice drills come into their own. And the gentleman was telling me that they're waiting now for the weather just to get a little bit colder so that the lakes and ponds freeze over so that ice fishing can start. And it's not quite cold enough yet for that. So there'll be a bit of a rush. Now again, I'll just let you know that I'm here on a Wednesday afternoon. So everybody in Moscow is at work. You could see briefly at the beginning the amount of cars on the highway going about the place. And very typically later in the evening, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is really the shopping days for these kinds of shops. And during the week, everybody in Moscow is working. and there won't really be that many people coming to these sorts of shops midweek. It's really hard to take all this in, so I'll try to go around as slowly as I can and then show you at least what I'm seeing. So all of these little tents are actually fishing tents or igloos. So you can set up all your gear inside, and then you'd actually drill a hole and fish from inside the tent. And then you can even take a little bit of a break, have something to eat. And then there is all sorts of different things associated with ice fishing, and I think that's what they've prepared a lot of the shop for now. And just the amount of choices of the fishing tackle. So all the way from off in the distance, you can see the staff down there. And then as I wrap around all the way around this side, it's really the whole perimeter of the upstairs level is the fishing gear and different things like weights and swivels and things like that. And then depending on the brand, they've got some of the fishing reels, and there's also rods everywhere. I want to try to make this as simple as I can. Also a lot of things I don't know what they are at the same time. And little miniature fishing setups. It's like pocket fishing. I'm not sure, is that a thing or not? It has to be if they've got a whole section of it with the little flick rods, if that's the right word. And then all of the accessories. So this shop literally, I think, would have to be the largest fishing store in Moscow and possibly the largest one in Russia. The fact that it's a 2-level shop. These are all of the bait cages. And then in Australia we have the word burley cage. Let me know if that might be a word that you use. And these fishing chairs, so they've actually got handles so you can wheel them out to your location, put all your gear on them, and you can be nice and lazy in your chair. There's a lot of choices of these. And then on this other back wall, the bags for all of your gear. And then I'm fairly sure this is all of the bait mixes that you can use with the cages and all the different flavors. I'm not sure what's the right word to use. The different tastes that the fish like. Actually, a lot of these are written in English, especially the ingredient inside. It's Russian branding. And then the English word on them. Fishing nets. And then all of the tackle bags. Very nice, some of these. They're proper designed bags, and for hunting as well. You have plenty of choices of bags. Fishing nets for live fishing. And we come around to the boats and these inflatable boats. I'm not sure with these what they serve the purpose of. Perhaps these are what you'd pull out onto the ice when you go ice fishing, and you use a couple of ropes and you put your tackle in them. I've seen people ice fishing in Moscow, but I've never paid exact attention to what they're doing. All of these inflatable boats. And all of these that you see here are all made in Russia in different cities. I was talking to the staff earlier about some of the different products that they sell, and they're quite proud to talk about the Russian branded items versus the things that would be imported, and mostly from China, places like that. And there's all sorts of different inflatable boats for fishing. This whole upstairs area is one fisherman's dream shop, I think. by a long way. And all of the gear. I've even got stand-up boards at the back there as well. And then all of the accessories for these boats. So you can get them as simple as you like, or you can kit them out with everything you need. And then we come around to an interesting section in just a minute. And I've got a whole shelf of propellers there. And then these are actually fishing sensors. So you can actually put sensors in the water, and they've got cameras. So it's a nice, interesting way to do your fishing. So it's basically like a sonar. Is that the right word? I think that's right. And they've just got accessory after accessory that you want for your boat. So you can kit it out as much as you like. Got the Garmin brand. So these fish finders, I think that's the right word to use. Fish finders. And we've got a few different versions of them. And these aren't just fluffy ducks for the kids or for your dog. These are to use as decoys for hunting. And then they've also got some of these hides as well. And even ghillie suits. So this is the absolute penultimate shop for every accessory and thing you might possibly need. It's really phenomenal when you come in here the first time and walk around. Look at more of these different hides. So I think these are actually for hunting, perhaps not for fishing. And these different versions that you can get, more elaborate and simpler, depending on the style. They're basically just very simple types of tents. It's the best way I can describe them. But I think for people who are more seriously into it, it would make complete sense. There are some hunting accessories here and things like belts and storage. And then check this one out right here. This is the very basic pop-up tent style, but with the camouflage on it. Very interesting. I hope you're finding this interesting as much as I am. It was going to be probably a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to make sure I showed everything in the store rather than editing and just showing one aisle or the other and missing something and just showing what I want to show versus making a nice detailed video about a hunting, camping and fishing store. And then as we go up and down some of the aisles, the sheer amount of gear and tackle. And we've got the accessory boxes here as well on this right hand side. And what they've done, the way they've set this up, it's usually by brand. So each different color that you see is a different brand of fishing tackle company, and even to a point where it might be set up by the type of fishing that you want to do. So whether it's river fishing or open sea fishing, and it's just aisle after aisle of fishing accessories. Is there that many brands of fishing tackle companies? I guess there is. There'd have to be 50 or more brands amongst everything on the wall. I mean, right down from little tiny hooks through to shark fishing. Not sure if they do that in Russia though, do they? I think if anybody was to come shopping here, it would really be a matter of setting some time aside and know that you're going to be gone for the day. Firstly, the fact that it's on the MKAD, which is a very busy road, and it's not so simple to come here depending on the direction of traffic that you're driving against. But just once you get in here and start looking carefully, you could have walked in only for a couple of hooks and end up with a basket of gear, and just aisle after aisle. And they have all of the fishing line on this right hand side, and then these jigs, and there's these different luminous type jelly rubber designed ones. A lot of choices, and I hope the video is showing that and giving you an idea of the extent of the passion for fishing here in Russia, because the amount of choices is just unbelievable. We're nearly at the end, and I've saved the last couple of bits for last intentionally so that people stay watching. You can see all of the fishing reels. So there was some others earlier in the video, and they've got this whole wall of them here. Ryobi, Daiwa, Shimano, I think very well-known brand names around the world. And there is literally one of everything on the wall. And then now, this last bit that I want to show you, they've got a hunting section and the different weapons that they've got. Now, I have made a other video going to a shopping mall that was solely dedicated to these, and perhaps it might be worth watching that video. And I won't sort of go into technical details about ownership because it gets very complicated to explain it, but the amount of accessories and items they've got is absolutely amazing. Now, this is a very general outdoor shop, so this isn't dedicated only to one topic or one type of outdoor adventure thing. I think you know what I mean. All the scopes. So you can go to a shop that's only for hunting, and these different weapons that they've got, you'll see on the wall just aisle after aisle of them. And I didn't know about this shop until yesterday. Literally, I was told about it yesterday by somebody in my Telegram channel. This is actually a replica, it's not real. And then I made a point to come out here to check out this place and this shop. If you have any very specific questions, I want to put a list of questions together about the ownership of weapons in Russia, because it does get very complicated. They don't have any brands on the wall here to call out the names that I'm looking at. They do have plenty of Swiss Army knives, however. And then hunting knives are in all these front cupboards at the same time. So there's a lot of choices. And I think that's the intention of these shops, is to build them with just that one person in mind who's going to come here and find what they want. It's very fascinating for me at the same time to come and see this place. You can see all of the bullets, plenty of things on display, and then all of the accessories for cleaning and servicing the weapons, and just cupboard after cupboard of products. And then if you need a safe, they have them as well. I think it's a requirement of ownership that you have a safe or somewhere to store them. All of the ducks in a row back there. So this is very interesting. When I walked in here, I didn't see this corner of the shop when I first walked in, and I was just in shock to see so much on display, because some of the smaller shops in Moscow just don't have this selection of items. There's also some handmade leather accessories here. We've also got some other items quite mixed together. Okay, I think these are crossbows, or at least small versions of them. So yeah, it's very interesting just to show this and just the amount of products and choices and what they have for sale here in Russia. I'm actually on the train on the way home right now, and I was a little bit forgetful as I came out of the store and I didn't do the ending. So I really hope you've enjoyed this walk around of Trofey Megamarket, which I consider a fishing, camping, hunting store. And I hope it was interesting to see a lot of the different things I had in there, perhaps compared to a store where you live, and how it might differ from one country to another. I've got, I think, 3 more stations till I get home. That's why I've got my hat on. I'm actually getting ready to get off the train very soon. It's actually been a very long day because I went and filmed a couple of other videos at other places as well. I'm finding it's easier now to go and film 2 or 3 videos in one day, and then I can have a day off preparing everything. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And it was really interesting, the sheer amount of fishing gear in that store, and then of course you saw all the hunting equipment as well. It was really very cool. So yeah, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and post a comment. Let me know what you think. How does it compare to where you live? A lot of people have been requesting these types of videos to show what typical shops look like here in Russia and here in Moscow, as a train just goes flashing by right there. Yeah, if you want to join me on Telegram, the link to my channel is right here. And then if you want to see an old video, it's coming up on this side. I feel like we're going around a corner, and you can click that link to watch another video. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.